You see, it's Aloha Friday, and it's a new Live PD Friday too. And let's see, what were we doing today again? Oh, I remember. We have, I think, one of the coolest people in all of Live PD-dom, if that's the word to use. Deputy Jeff McElwain live on the phone right now. Deputy McElwain, welcome to the show. We are honored to have you, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Oh, stop it. Now, you're the rock star, not me. We got a little joke. I call him a rock star because he's so young and he's done so much. And you know what's cool about what he's done is I think he's captured the hearts of Live PD Nation. And Deputy McElwain. Do you want me to call you Deputy McElwain, Santa Claus, Jeff? What would you like me to call you? I'm not sure how to do that part.
Jeff is okay. We can make it informal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You're as good as Danny Brown. He said, call me Danny, sir. I said, stop calling me sir, and I'll call you Danny. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell people. We're normal people, Just because we put a vest and a badge on, it doesn't change really who we are. We still go to the grocery store. We still got kids. We still got marriages. And all the issues of everyday people. So I like to be on a first-name basis. And I think I've shown that on the show sometimes. Just call me Jeff.
Jeff, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. My name's Larry, but don't call me late for dinner. Hey, I need to say, by the way, you have, and this is no lie, you have the best Twitter picture I have ever seen with you and your child. What was tell me the inspiration for that. I know I didn't send you this question, but because it was so special and hit me so much, I needed to ask you that question. What was what was kind of the background story for that?
Really, it was just a newborn picture around I think the month and a half marker for my son after he was born, and I kind of wanted to share a special moment between him and I. Because I'm big on my family. I'm big on my two boys. They mean the world to me. And that picture really kind of showcases the two loves I had in my life, which is my two boys and my job.
Wow, that is a great picture. For those of you folks, I'm sure everybody that's watching right now and listening to this interview, either now live or on replay, has seen it. But if you haven't been to Deputy McElwain's page, please do so. It is absolutely heartwarming. It's a beautiful picture of a father and son. The best way to put it, it's a beautiful family picture, and it shows so much love. Jeff, how long have you worked for Pinal County Sheriff's Office?
I'm about approximately 2 years now, and it's been definitely a roller coaster experience. I would never have expected to be a position I am today. I am very, very grateful.
You guys have a large county as well. It's almost 400,000 people in Pinal County, and you kind of got a little bit of the Metro Phoenix area there, and you're on the way to Tucson. It's a very large county, isn't it?
Yeah, it stretches out pretty far. We get a little bit of everything. We have, the city atmosphere. We have the rural areas. We have the mountain areas where we're dealing with, the drug smuggling, the human smuggling. We get it all. That's the great thing about this county. So you have a wide variety of things that you can do, and affect change in different ways. However you want to do that career.
Yeah, we've seen. I've been a person that's watched Border Patrol a lot, and the way that they smuggle the drugs in from Mexico is creative as heck. I mean, wearing carpet on their shoes, things like that. Do you run into very much that?
I do watch some of the special details that we have out there. So it is a passion for me to keep illegal drugs off the streets, especially with the opiate issues we're having in our country and Arizona, and even in just San Valley. It's ripping families apart. It's a terrible thing to see right now.
Wow. Yeah, it is. I've talked about this. In fact, Danny Brown from Richland County and I talked about this last week, Jeff. It was, oh, by the way, Lynette just wanted you to know that she loves you. Okay, so there you go. You've got love coming in already, you see, and you don't think you're a rock star. 2 years in, and look at what's happening to your career. That's pretty cool. Drugs are such an issue for me personally because I had been on them for 10 years because of 10 very painful surgeries. And the stuff that people do with them to alter them, they don't realize how easy it is to get hooked on them. And no matter what kind of drug you're on, it's so important, folks, make sure that you, A, have a prescription, B, take it as prescribed, and C, never, ever share it with someone else. That is so important. So important. What was your experience before becoming a deputy there in Pinal County, Jeff? What did you do?
I was a student. I had graduated from Northern Arizona University with my bachelor's in law enforcement intelligence with a focus in federal, state, and local law enforcement intelligence, and just kind of working with people and managing emergencies, functions of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently getting my master's right now at Arizona State University.
Wow.
Emergency Management and Homeless.
Congratulations. Wow, master's degree. That's going to go far for you. My gosh. Holy cow. I bet your family's very proud of you. A master's you're going all the way in. Good. Is your hope then, Jeff, to be maybe career-wise to be a captain or something, maybe a sheriff someday? What would your goals be down the road?
Right now, everything has come so fast. I'm really just trying to learn and experience what this job's about. At 2 years, you're still learning. I call myself a lifelong student, and I'm just kind of just taking this job as it comes to me. And if opportunities come, I'll seek them definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the leadership roles, and I'm trying to learn and grasp what that takes to be a leader still. And you never know what their future may hold.
That's good. Well, I'm proud of you, man. I mean, I like the word lifelong student. I think, I'm 54, and I can still consider myself a student of the world because you can learn at any age and grow from that. In fact, one of the questions I posed to you earlier today, well, not today, but this week, was one that I had wondered literally for 40 years, and you just came right, oh, that's this. And so we'll talk about that in a moment because if I have that question, other people have to have the same dang question, right? So it was a neat question. I appreciate you not making me feel like an idiot for asking it. Hey, Jeff, describe...
No.
What's that? Sorry?
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Oh, bless your heart, my friend. Thank you for that. We're talking with Deputy Jeff McElwain of Pinal County, Arizona. We are honored to have him on the phone with us today in front of live PD Nation before the new show tonight on A&E starting at 9 Eastern. It'll be on 9 Pacific as well, unless you have a certain satellite system that gets you on at 6. And if you do, invite me to your house, please, because I have to wait till 9 Pacific, okay? And that's just my little tidbit. All right, Jeff, describe Pinal County. What's it like there?
It's vibrant. It's really, I work in the San Valley area. It is a very vibrant and expanding area right now. There's tons of homes going up. People are flooding to the area. They want that rural feel of still kind of seeing the farms and the mountains and kind of getting away from the city. It's quiet, and quite frankly, it's just a nice place to be. You still get that fresh air, that smell, that morning dew when the sun comes up. It's a beautiful area. And when you start pushing back out towards the west into the Casa Grande, Arizona City type areas, it's just nature. It's the wild, wild west out there, and it's just a beautiful thing to see if you go out that way and really just kind of see Mother Nature at her best.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. You don't have to sell me on Arizona because I'd love to live there. I mean, I for years we would travel down to spring training, which is going on right now down in the valley. And if you've never been to the state of Arizona and you just think it's nothing but desert, I'm telling you, you are way off. I mean, the difference between Flagstaff and Phoenix is like the difference between Colorado and Florida. I mean, they are so uniquely different. Arizona is a very diverse state, and it is stunningly beautiful. And where you're at, southeast of Phoenix and going towards, Tucson, you see some of those beautiful areas of Arizona. I mean, you have a very, very, I would say, Old West, a Wild West look. In fact, one night, I remember you personally on the show, do you remember running into the man that was out in the middle of nowhere picking up pieces of dirt and tin, not dirt and tin, but cardboard and tin, looking for critters?
Yes. Yes. I remember that day very well.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I am one of those guys, if I saw a rattlesnake, I would absolutely wet myself and die. I mean, that'd be the end of me. But, I mean, this guy was out there he was like nonchalant. Everything was fine, just looking for critters. And I looked at that, and your reaction was exactly what mine would have been. Oh, my gosh. You do live in an area that is filled with very much diverse wildlife, from the birds that are there, the cactus wrens, all the way to the snakes and the scorpions and all of that. But really, in the residential areas, that's really not a problem. It's once you get out in the outskirts, right?
Yeah, and that's I think what people like about this state is just that nature feel. And I don't like snakes. If there's a call with a snake or anything of that sort, you can just count me not to be standing outside. I don't do well with things that slither or have a bunch of legs. That doesn't work for me.
Good man.
But I wasn't born and raised here, but I love the state of Arizona. I love the people that live here. It's a very laid back, still a very West Coast type of feel state. Mm-hmm. And from the people that live up in Flagstaff, Sedona type areas, all the way down to the Tucson area, and in the Valley area, Metro Valley of Phoenix, you just get everything.
Yeah.
And people here are great. And I love living here.
That's good. Where originally are you from, Jeff? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Indiana, then I grew up parts in San Diego.
Wow, very, very dope. Two way different places. I bought a car actually in Merrillville one time, and I drove it all the way home west, and that was on my bucket list. It was the trip of my lifetime. It was what I always wanted to do. And San Diego is one of the most beautiful places on earth. I mean, holy cow! There's a reason so many people live there. Man, oh man. Gee, but you still are living in that area that's so very, very, rural and also very much a city too. And you can make it to the coast in California in 5-6 hours or so, So you still are in a very, very good place. So I think the area where you're at, being through there before, being through Casa Grande and being through Florence, those are beautiful cities. They really are. Wow.
They're smaller, but they have their unique old Western feel, and I think that's what truly is the charm about this state, is that Western feel that hasn't been taken away from here yet.
Yes.
And I hope it never does.
Now,
it will truly take away from.
Part of my research, Jeff, I didn't see if is Tombstone part of your county as well?
Sorry, what place?
The town of Tombstone, Arizona. Is that part of Pinal County, or is that outside towards Tucson?
That's outside towards Tucson.
Okay, yeah. The Wild West. It doesn't get any more Wild West than that. I mean, being in Tombstone, Arizona, it's amazing. But yeah, very good. That's cool. You've had a very diverse growing up period from the Midwest to the West Coast, and then into Arizona. That's good. Hey, could you take some time? And this is something that is, I think, so important, Jeff. What was it like to receive the honor of being a guest analyst on Live PD? I remember you had posted, you tweeted before the first show on Friday, you had a chance to speak with Styx, so he kind of gave you a little bit, hopefully calming down the nerves a little bit. Talk about that a little bit. What was the process? I mean, you've been in it 2 years, and you get this phone call, I'm sure, from your boss saying, pack up your gear, dude, you're going to New York. What was that like?
It was amazing. Going into this, I would never expect it to. I don't like to call myself famous or anything like that. I don't feel I'm a celebrity. At the end of the day, I'm just a cop, and truly, that's the roots that I try to maintain. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to become any more than that because it takes away from this job. But just the opportunity to be viewed in a positive way and be able to go out to New York and showcase this career that I have a lot of passion for, and a lot of other women and men have a lot of passion for, go out and do every day and represent for us. It was an amazing opportunity, and especially for myself. I was just floored and honored. God has truly blessed me with opportunities so quickly.
Amen,
man. And I'm eternally grateful for it.
Amen. Now, I'm a former youth pastor. You're never really a former, like you're never a former service person. I'm a retired youth pastor, and to hear you say that means a lot to me because it's going to take people from your generation, Jeff, to say words like that, to have young people who are your age or younger to value the Lord and understand where it comes from because, man, our country needs it now. We really do. I mean, we need to know where it comes from. So thanks for saying that. I just want you to know that from a retired youth pastor to you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you got the call. How did it all happen? You got the call from your was your PIO, your sheriff, who called you in to tell you, and how'd that go?
It was kind of a unified effort between the Live PD show and my command staff letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
Letting me know what exactly was going on, and I was like, really? Are you sure? So they're like, yeah, and it happened really quickly,
mm-hmm.
And definitely I was excited, grateful for everything that the show did and put on and how accommodating they were.
Yeah, and then what was it like going home and telling your wife?
She was excited. She's, I would definitely say, she lives top world 24/7. So she is supportive,
mm-hmm.
and she's excited because this is all new to all of us. So
mm-hmm.
it's a good experience.
Well, I love the fact that you'd said that Styx had reached out to you to talk to you a little bit about it too. I'm sure that calmed the nerves a little bit.
It did, especially because he's the GOAT. He's been doing it for a while, and I think he does a very good job at it. So it was great to be able to speak to someone who's had the experience,
mm-hmm.
kind of take you through the motions and say, hey, man, just relax,
Mm-hmm.
You don't put Top Shot in front of TV show every day. So a lot different than beating up a patrol car and have a camera guy with you. At this point, I don't even know if the camera guy's there. I can just go in and doing my job.
That's part of what I was going to ask you coming up here, my friend, was, having the Live PD crew in. What's it like? What's a typical evening with them like for you? Is it just basically you have the camera person in the vehicle, you have someone that's from the show, that's the producer in there as well? How does that look? What's kind of, if you could paint a picture for Live PD Nation, what's it look like?
Well, I mean, on live nights like tonight, I'll get to shift a little early. They'll get all their equipment set up. There'll be the camera guy, the sound guy, and the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And completely the great thing about A&E and Live PD is that they're complete observers. There's nothing that's fixed. There's nothing that they're interfering with. It's completely, if something happens, it happens. And that's the thing about live nights is you don't know if you have a busy night or a slow night. And that's just what law enforcement is. It's a roller coaster of events. And some days you just might be sitting there and just nothing happens. You can pull 10 cars over and they're all law-abiding citizens and there's no calls for service. And Live PD does not care. That they want a future law enforcement in its pure, almost organic form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Well, we heard last week from Danny Brown about the 4 transmitters that go on the trunk or on the roof of the vehicles that go directly by satellite to New York. We learned how that part of it works. Any other little behind-the-scenes thing that people from that love the show might learn from you about in terms of how it works when Live PD is on with you on a Friday or Saturday night?
It's really simple. It's not too complex, and I think that's how they want to keep it because they don't want to interfere with our job. Like I said, they want to keep it organic. They don't want to make it an officer safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really what you see is what you're getting. It's just a couple cameras and the officer who's being featured at that time showcasing what they do on their job. And for me, it's one of the big things. It was a little hard getting used to in the beginning to have the camera there, beeping. But after a while, you get used to it and you're just doing your job and don't focus on the camera. They aren't there because you don't want to start doing things that are unnatural or going to put yourself or anybody in harm's way.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I could imagine that it'd be easy to lose your way if you're not used to having that crew there, and that's a good piece of advice there. Tonight, and I don't want to bring this up because I'm fishing for anything weird, but this is the 1 month anniversary of something that I think personally, watching the show from almost the very beginning. In fact, I did see the first show, but I've missed some of them along the way. But one of the most intense moments I have ever seen was 1 month from tonight, and that happened on your shift. In fact, when Live PD went over to you, and that was when the gentleman was threatening your whole family. How did you deal with that? Your step-by-step instincts, Jeff, because first he said he had a gun, then you've got to find cover, you've got to be able to protect yourself and protect the public. What was going through your mind? I mean, this happened a month ago today. Tell me about that.
It felt, and I've kind of gone through it, and that's you always kind of nurture it through your mentors, not to harbor on things. You let it go after it passes. But really, when I was going through it, it felt like a training scenario. Really, as I went through it, it kind of just all kind of fell into place. Kind of like if you're in the academy or some of the training scenarios that we go through on duty. I really didn't have a great appreciation for the incident until I think I watched the episode maybe the day or two after the incident. I watched it at home because I DVR the show, and I really had a great appreciation for what happened.
Yes, indeed.
It fell in line. The training that Pinal County provides, the Academy provides, and the FTO program, and just there was 2 senior deputies when I first started working nights that really mentored me when I came on, and I contributed a lot of who I am as a deputy to those 2 guys, and I owe them tremendously.
Well, we're glad you're safe. I can tell you that for me personally, I was praying for you. I really was, because when I see some of these things, Jeff, and I pray before the show always, and I pray afterwards for your safety to get home, and that goes for all the deputies and troopers and officers on the show, and the people who aren't on the show as well. But my point was, you had to have such self-control, and I want to congratulate you on the amount of self-control you had, because, that is such a split-second decision, and you do not have, okay, hold on a second, give me a second to think about what I'm supposed to do here. I mean, you just got to do it. And, Jeff, you were so good, and I think that's really what made everybody stand up and take notice of you, because you shone, man. I mean, for a 2-year deputy, wow. Your humility and your ability to make good decisions like that, Jeff, were fantastic. Congratulations, truly, because that was of the years I've watched the show, Jeff. I've never been that intense. I've never been that freaked out by something happening to somebody. Truly.
I don't know if there's just a little bit of crazy mixed in me, or just good training, and just I feel there's just a lot that's mixed into me, and a lot of it has to do with those 2 deputies, the training we received, and just the department that we work with, that I work for. It's just a tremendous environment that we work in, and that instance, I should have used lethal force. I mean, I was darn right in rightful ways to do so. But something in me was telling me not to pull the trigger. I don't know what it was. I'm a guy, I go with my gut. And my gut has been correct about 95% of the time in my life. So I rely heavily on it. And, there was just something in me that said, don't do it. And, that's a risk that we take. That's a split-second decision not to do it. Could have been a deadly situation for me. And it's just a blessing for how it worked out. I'm going back and watching a lot of lawsuits where it's how I didn't do it or why I didn't do it, and I've got questions about it, and it just lined up, and I was provided the things I needed to give a half a second extra to say, give this guy some minutes, get cover, and we can all go home, and everyone always asks, how do you stay so calm in these scenarios?
Yes, indeed.
Scenarios, some of the domestics I go to, just a lot of the calls, I get a lot of questions. How do you stay so calm? And I always tell people, quite honestly, it's having a toddler. I've really taken a lot from being a dad. Raising a toddler is an emotional roller coaster of you're being loving and you're disciplining. You're being loving and you're disciplining. You're being loving and disciplining. And not saying I treat people like a toddler, but I approach things that way because, you got to discipline or you got to enforce a law, but you have to be loving and compassionate. And I go, if you look at me, I go back and forth between that. And that's just the type of rapport I try to build with people, and it's been successful.
Well, it was for sure that night, and it showed clearly. Jeff, I was really worried for you. I really was. And I'm grateful for the decision you made. And I think for the show itself, that was gold because it shows officers, deputies, troopers, however you want to call them. We all call them Leos. But it shows them truly at their best. And had you pulled the trigger, I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference in terms of how people would feel about you because of how desperate the situation was. But I think it holds you a little higher at the end because you made that good decision so quickly under such duress, and with all the threats being spewed out as well at the same time. That was the part for me personally, I will say, Jeff, that I'm most proud of you for because, the threats against your family, all of that continuing to go on, it was like just an angry epithet out of this guy's mouth, but you maintained calm. That was professional to the extreme. Jeff, congratulations. I think that is the way that all law enforcement officers need to be looked at, exactly as you reacted, professional and courteous. Thank you for doing a good job that night, Jeff. That was 1 month ago.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you. And what I try to promote is there's there's no one way to do it, and that's how the show shows it. In different instances you see on, with officers that are publicized on the media and through their body cam footage. There's just no one way to do this. And you put another police officer in my seat in that day, they're going to make a different decision. And if I keep putting in one of the other guys' situations, I'm going to do something different.
Yep.
There's just no one tailor-fit way to handle every situation. Everyone sees something different. I'm a taller guy. I'm 6'3", 215 pounds. I'm going to see things different than the guy who may, to the female officer who may be 5'6", and 120. She's going to see things differently. Or there's a male who's a different stature. You're going to see things differently. And we're going to react differently. And I hate to say there's no right or wrong way to do something. There's just multiple different ways on how to respond to a threat in any circumstance.
And you're right. I mean, that's why I was saying different people doing it different ways. But I think that night really exemplified I think, a lot of training and a lot of repetition and a lot of intelligence. And I think, Jeff, that I think you really stood tall. Taller than your stature is, okay? So, well done, my friend. We're talking...
And one of the key things for what I do... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to tell everybody.
One of the key things that I do is when I go to calls, I'm scenario based. I go through 2 or 3 scenarios in my head before I go into a call and how they go. I go from the most neutral way to the medium way things can go to higher risk. And I go through those 3 scenarios before I get to any call that I go to, whether it's a civil matter, a missing child, or a threatening person. And I'm mentally prepared for those scenarios as I'm going through them in my head.
Wow. Now, even with the live crew there, that would be, what I'm saying is if you're thinking of that in your head, you need to think about it and concentrate a little bit. So is the car then generally quiet during that time to give you the opportunity to prepare for the situation, or are there people chattering in the back and in the front and all that stuff, or does it just vary depending upon what the call is?
No, they're completely observers. They do not interfere at any point in time. Sure. Not at any point in time a liability. They let me do what I have to do. And the show does not dictate, and they're very big on the show not dictating what I do. I dictate what I need to get the job done. They're there just to observe. If I can't talk, I can't talk. If I can talk, I can talk. If there's something I need to do, if there's something I need to go, or whatever the case may be or scenario, that's the priority, is doing my job in its most raw, organic form, not bending and mending to appease viewers or appease the show. It's about showcasing law enforcement in the most pure way, what they're doing every day without interference.
True. Well, that's good. We're talking with one of Live PD's most popular deputies of all. This is Deputy Jeff McElwain of Pinal County, Arizona, and Deputy McElwain has made himself available to Live PD Nation. Your questions are also welcome. You can type them on the screen here. We'd be honored to ask them of him. Please know that we won't be answering questions that have already been addressed, but we will make sure that your questions is answered. Susan Patton from Montreal, Canada asked a question, Jeff. She asked, when you wear your vest and you got your shirt on and everything, it looks like you're carrying a little more than just a vest. Is it just the vest underneath the shirt, or do you pack like a road map, your water, your fruit juice bars and all that stuff? You know what I mean? That was her question.
Well, my old vest that I wore was a custom-made vest that we through a local Arizona company that we have here, and the pockets were already made, and my vest, it was a great quality vest. It was just the pockets were made really large, unfortunately, so it made it look like I was carrying a lot of stuff. When technically all I was carrying on my vest was my radio, my taser, and I had two pockets that I had like notepad and pens and spirits, like keys and things like that. So I really wasn't carrying that much. Okay. The pockets were really large and kind of overdone. My new vest, all I carry is my radio. I carry two AR-15 magazines, and what else do I have on there? And I have like a little accessory pack on there too. So there's only three things I'm actually carrying. What makes my vest bulk out a little bit also is I have an additional clay plate that's in the front of my vest. Okay. So it bulks it out a little bit. It gives it that kind of that push out, kind of whitened appearance versus other guys' vests. And that's just, I wear it because it's extra protection. With the threats we're facing now, individuals aren't coming out with slingshots, with rocks. They're coming out with rifle rounds and shotguns and high capacity rounds that can cause a lot of damage for us. And I try to just give myself a little bit more of an opportunity to go home to my kids and my wife.
Indeed, indeed, Jeff. We're talking, for those of you who just joined us, with Deputy Jeff McElwain from the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. And Jeff, what are some of the most rewarding things for you being a deputy there in Pinal County?
Really, it's the opportunity to go out and work with people. This is the job I've wanted to do my whole life. I didn't have a plan B. Quite honestly, if I wasn't a cop right now, I'm not quite sure what I would be doing. It's an honor, and it's just a pure honor that Pinal County gave me the opportunity to work for them and go out and just say, hey, there's a take-home car. There's all the equipment you need. There's all the training that you can have. Really, training in my agency is pretty much endless. And go out there and do what you love to do. If you want to just answer calls for service, that's just your forte. You can do that. And if you want to go out and hunt for DUIs, which is my passion and that's my specialty, is going out for DUI enforcement, go out and do that to your best ability. And go and my big thing is affecting change. And that's what I try to do. I go out and affect change with every contact that I have, whether it's just doing a basic traffic stop to pulling, tons of edibles, marijuana edibles out of the car, or methamphetamine or cocaine to, coming across a prostitution stop I've had before. So it's just the pleasure of being able to do a very wide variety of things. And my boss, being Mark Rim, going out and saying, hey, go out there and do some work and have fun doing it.
Good. That's a great attitude, isn't it? Wow. That's a good attitude. Well, you've got a good sheriff there, and I know that he just started in 2017, I think one of the best things that happened was he had you. I really believe that. I know that Live PD Nation agrees, Jeff, that I think that your education has helped you greatly. I think that your God-given gift of discernment, and that's one of God's gifts that's very, very rare for people, but the rarest one I think of all is patience. I can speak from experience being a retired youth pastor. Patience even for me was hard. So having patience on your end, I think, is a great God-given gift, and I encourage you to continue to use that gift because you have it very, very well. The Lord's blessed you. What kind of community service work do you do there, Jeff? Tell me about the kind of things you do in the community to kind of get yourself out there, and not necessarily for promotional purposes, but just to make a difference.
A lot of times, we most recently we've had some issues in the local parks with some kids, and I'm not sure why, or if it's because the weather's getting a little bit nicer. Mm-hmm. I know. I say 50 degrees is cold for us here, and people are probably like, what? 50 degrees? That'd be amazing right now. But in Arizona, 50 degrees is cold. That's putting a coat on. We're in cold shock, like what's going on. Mm-hmm. But it's starting to warm back up. It's starting to get into the 80s and the 85, 90s, and the kids are starting to get outside. So I'd like to stop out and talk to kids and just go out there and see how they're doing, stop at some of the local parks. And just making sure they know we're visible, making sure they know we're approachable. Because that's a key thing for me is promoting the idea. I always tell people, I'm not here for you, I'm here with you. And that's what law enforcement is here. We're here with you. Public safety is a unified effort. It's just not law enforcement's responsibility for public safety. It's a unified effort between law enforcement, first responders, and the community to join together and say, hey, illegal activity and any other type of nonsense is not going to be accepted here, and citizens are going to report it, and join with law enforcement. We're going to try to proactively prevent it and deter people from doing it, and then apprehend individuals if need so.
Very good. Well, and kind of coupling with that question, Jeff, how do you feel the show Live PD has helped you, especially with maybe gang members or young people? Does it give you kind of a little bit more clout or more, respect that they know that you're on that show and they've seen you?
Definitely recognize them a lot more. I go to restaurants and, you'll have the whole restaurant turn and look, and I'll be in the grocery store where I live at. Individuals will come up and say, are you on that show? It's great to be able to engage with individuals because I think, law enforcement kind of goes through a tide where we're very appreciated, and then, society kind of starts not liking us. We're appreciated, and society stops liking us. And that's not for everyone. I know there's a tremendous, huge following which has been displayed with Live PD Nation, that there's a lot of support and love for law enforcement.
Indeed.
And it's great that, I love being able to engage with people because sometimes, when you're in uniform, people are sometimes a little intimidated. We carry, you have this guy who has a gun, he has, rifle mag, all this stuff and knives, all this stuff on him. I know we can be intimidating. We drive these large vehicles, we drive fast, we need to, and people are sometimes intimidated to approach us. And this show has been an outlet for people to say, hey, these women and men are normal people,
Yeah.
I love for people to come up and talk and say hi and engage and build those relationships, because this is what this job's about. Is once again, and my theory and what I have is I'm here with you. We're doing this together, and that's the only way this gets done.
We are live with Pinal County Sheriff Deputy Jeff McElwain, and one of the things that Danny Brown from Richland County had said, very similar to what you just said, was recognized in restaurants, and that and I think, Jeff, with more time on the show, Danny had made it sound like he gets a little more respect with the young people, a little more respect with even gang members who wouldn't even talk to police before. I think with your attitude and your smile and your charisma, I think that's just a matter of time for you. And within your area, is there ever a time where that gets old? Because you are on TV quite a bit. Does it ever kind of come to a point where you and your wife say, I just want to get away, I want some time away to just relax? Not be recognized, just relax.
I really haven't experienced that yet. I had the opportunity to do a mutual aid agreement that we have with the NASCAR racetrack out with MCSO in Avondale, or Phoenix Speedway, which is in Avondale, Arizona. And I got a chance to go out there because it's not in my county. So it's a great opportunity to go out to a different area and work. Because all officers in the state of Arizona were state certified, so our authority is statewide, no matter where we are.
Really? Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if I'm in Flagstaff, if for whatever reason my department has us up in Flagstaff doing something with Flagstaff PD, my authority is the same. Now, investigating crimes and things like that, of course, are no longer jurisdiction, but my police officer authority is the same. But, going back to the event at the NASCAR race, it was a great opportunity to go out and reach and talk to people and see people. I haven't got to the point where it's like I want to go in a dark cave and hide. That's really not my personality, really. I love working with people. I love engaging with people. And you can tell my wife will tell you, I'm the guy. I go to the grocery store and I get to the clerk and I'm sitting there making jokes and trying to make them laugh so they look like they're having a bad day. And so my wife is looking at me like, Jeff, will you stop? So I just like to have fun. I love working with people. I love this job. I have a true passion for it. And I go out and treat people with respect. People want to talk to me for 2 or 3 minutes. That's not a problem for me.
Sorry, that's my attack dog in the background, Jeff. I apologize. I'm a little embarrassed of that. That is my attack dog, all 12 pounds of her barking, so please forgive me for that.
That's fine. My little guy will probably come running through here in a little bit also.
Okay, good. So what you're basically saying is that you're the guy, because you are outgoing, that sometimes your wife gives you what's known as the look, and then okay, honey, yes, dear, right?
Yeah, it's like, can you stop? And
That's
well, she looks like she's having a bad day. I want to bring joy to people in the world. That's just my thing. I just want to bring joy and put something back into this world. I feel like sometimes in life we get to a point where we're just continuously, I call it the love bank, and we're continuously taking out of it, and we're never putting back into it. And you got to put back into that bank, and that's spreading out, care and love to other people.
Yes, it does.
To be able to get some back.
Wow, you are quite mature for your age. You know that? Now, I would tell you that if you were in my church or if whatever, that's a very mature way of thinking, that, the love bank metaphor, because life is about that. Life is about helping others. It is about lifting people up. It is about improving your world one person at a time. I send many notes of encouragement out on Twitter for that very reason, because you don't know who it hits in that moment where they really need that pick-me-up. And to come from someone in law enforcement, Jeff, that's really impressive. I want to encourage you to keep doing that, because you don't know the person that you just hit at that precise moment that they needed that more than anything. And you sound like you have pretty good empathy, so keep using that gift, my friend, all right?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. We're talking with Deputy Jeff McElwain of the Pinal County Sheriff's Office in Arizona. We've got a few minutes left here. Jeff, if you can meet, now this comes from Lieutenant Dan's Crazy Crew. Now, just so you know, Lieutenant Dan's Crazy Crew, good friend of mine, they're about 15 miles away. They love Danny Brown from Richland County. She asked this question of Danny Brown, and I think it should always be one of our questions, because it's a fun question, and it's a question that really there's no wrong answer to. So I love that. If you could meet anyone famous, Jeff, who would it be?
It would be, I'm a huge, having been born in Indiana, I bleed blue for Colts. I am a huge Peyton Manning fan. It would be a dream of mine to be able to meet Peyton Manning. It'd be great to get an autographed jersey that I could plaque and put up in my house. I just think he's from what I've seen, observed of him, he's a very upstanding guy. And of course, no one's perfect, and we all have our poisons. But from what I've seen, he's a great athlete. He's been an upstanding guy. He's respectful, and he's a stellar person for what I've seen. I'd be head over heels starstruck.
Wow.
I had the opportunity to meet Peyton Manning.
You know what? That's really cool. For me, when I was a kid, I'm looking to see if I have it up. I have an area back. I should have a thing like the, I'll kind of show it on the TV, so when you can see the replay of the interview, you'll see what I'm talking about, Jeff. I'm a huge sports fan, and behind me I've got a Cal Ripken Jr. baseball, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm a huge Cub fan, so there's a lot of things from their World Series championship. But there's one item, and I'm going to see if I can find it here somewhere. Our house caught fire about a year ago, and we lost very, very much. But there was one item myself that I was able to get, and it is, I think, right here. Hang on a second. I want to be able to show it to you. No, it's not there. All right. When I was a kid, I loved basketball. Now, my problem was I was born short. I'm only 5'10", but my favorite player was Julius Erving. I was a huge Dr. J fan, which was interesting because I was also a Portland Trailblazer fan growing up in Portland. And they played in the finals in 1977. I was 13. And it was hard because Dr. J was my favorite guy, but, you know, I had to root for the home team. Well, a while ago, I got a gifted autographed jersey from the '83 season of the Sixers, and there it is, Dr. J's jersey. Now, that means a lot. It really does, and I'm going to encourage you to get that because when you have something like that, Jeff, you are so uniquely proud of it, and you can tell the stories to your sons and explain why that's up there. Because for you, it's more than just the person that you admired. It's why he is. He's a good man, and that's important. To be a good person is to be good at playing sports is one thing, but to be a good person is an entirely different one.
And that's what I like is authenticness. I try to find people that I want to rebuild my life off of, and being authentic. And that's one of the great characteristics I see is Peyton Manning. Is one of the great things I see in my own father. They're authentic people. Love it or like it, they're authentic and they stick to who they are. They're not going to waver either way. They stick to who they feel they are, what the principles they believe in, and that's what I try to showcase in that. And for me, one of the great things about the opportunity that my department has provided me with, and my PD has provided me with, is to be able to showcase something to my kids. Things in this era stay around forever now on the internet, and for ages to come, my sons are going to be able to see historically what I went out and did every day, why I went out and worked at night, why I wasn't home. And this is the reason why, is because I was going out doing something I had a true passion for, to go out and help people. And I feel like it's going to be able to be a great thing to show my kids, especially my 3-year-old. 3-year-old toddlers, they admire whatever they see on TV, whether it's George or Thomas or all these Blaze, the truck show. They admire these things. Those are their superheroes. And have my wife show me my son watching me on TV is a very emotional thing for me. If you can't tell me in my voice, it's a very emotional thing for me because I get to see my son see me on a platform for which he sees other things that he idolizes.
Wow.
And I can see it in my son, and it's a very emotional thing for me to see that, to see my son see me on TV, and it truly brings a smile on my face and makes me proud to be doing what I'm doing.
We are talking with Deputy Jeff McElwain, Pinal County Sheriff. That is, I think, the best statement I have ever heard. To interview somebody live, Jeff, that is beautiful, and that's honestly something every father, every parent hopes for. But you have the unique opportunity to do that, and just my advice to you is always remember where it comes from. Okay, always remember where those gifts you have come from, and honor the one who gives them to you, and the Lord will continue to bless you. You're the right kind of person to do what you do, and I'm glad you decided on law enforcement, because I think Pinal County is very blessed to have you. I really do, and I think Live PD Nation agrees with that as well. So, final question here for Deputy Jeff McElwain. What advice would you give to someone looking to go into a law enforcement career with Pinal County?
yourself. And that's what this career is about. It's not about trying to fit a mold. You shouldn't try to be Danny Brown. You shouldn't be trying to be Deputy McElwain or Sergeant Moreno or try to be Sergeant Larkin or Stick. You shouldn't try to be any of the individuals that you're seeing on TV. You have to be yourself, because that's the great thing about this career is that we all bring a piece of ourselves to it. And that's what exposes people to so many different things. And you can assist people in different circumstances based off your own experiences, not based off mine or anybody else's, just based off yours. Just be yourself and do it with confidence, because being yourself, that's the most confident thing you can be, because you've been it your whole life.
That's right.
If you try to be anything else, it's not authentic, and you're going to be wishy-washy about it. Be yourself. Be confident in who you are, and go out and just say, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do," and you go out there and kick butt, and in the most PG way, those who want to cause harm to others and defile our communities, they're gonna pay the cost for it, and you're going to stand in their way from it happening.
Yeah. Well, I think what you do and how you do it, Jeff, is so very important. It really is. And I think the fact you do it without arrogance and just with kindness, that you're not out there. And a lot of people believe today, for whatever reason, that police are really heavy-handed and they are just paid for by whatever. The point is that what I really want to ensure people understand, these are people too. I mean, they have hearts too, and when they have to write a ticket, it's not because they want to. They don't want your driving record to have a ticket on it. It's because it's their job, and they have to. If they don't, then they're in trouble, especially if you've already had 3 warnings for the same thing. So please, folks, remember that. And I think with Live PD Nation, Jeff, we do get it, and we do honor you guys. And I think that what I found here that I really enjoy the most is that it's how I grew up. I mean, I grew up that you revere law enforcement, and you listen and you respect them. I couldn't handle the things you handle. I'll be honest with you. I would be very frustrated and angry. So your kindness to people who basically, not physically spit in your face, but act that way very disrespectfully, it becomes really frustrating for me, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how in the heck can you do that? These guys are public servants and they're trying to do their job. That's a tough thing, but I appreciate, what you did that night a month ago, but also what you do every night, which is you handle yourself professionally and you handle yourself as a man of God. That is the highest compliment I can give you, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to give you one more question, because it was the question I had that you already answered, that you didn't make me feel stupid as heck for asking. I've wondered this since I was a child and used to watch Adam 12, because my brother has always been watching law shows, okay? From Dragnet to Adam 12 to Chips, it went on and on, all the way through the 70s and 80s, it just went on. I have noticed on Live PD, almost every show, there are tons of papers stuffed up underneath the driver's sun visor. What the heck is that stuff?
Those are, so there, and any officer can contest this. There are 10 billion statues for everything, and we can't remember everything under the sun. It's one of those things, like, I know it's against the law, but I can't tell you what statue is. I can find it, and that's what they are. For me, it's just quick cheat sheets up there for different traffic violations and criminal codes. So you're not sitting there having to remember every single statute when you're going to write a ticket or have to research some violation or criminal code. You can quickly go look up at the cheat sheet and say, hey, that's it right there, and you can further your investigation from there.
There you go. Well, thank you for that, because when you answered that question, it was the aha moment for me, and I was like, I've had that question most of my life, and you answered it, and I appreciate that, Jeff. Thank you. My friend,
no problem.
It has been an honor. It really has been. I'm going to ask you something you've probably never thought you'd get on an interview, and I'm going to pray with you. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's important, and I try to every night before Live PD. So instead of doing this tonight at 5 minutes to 6 before the show, Deputy McElwain and I are going to pray together, and I encourage all of you that are watching to please join us, all right? bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to meet today, Deputy McElwain in Arizona, myself here in Independence, Oregon. We lift up all the law enforcement personnel, whoever they are, coast to coast, whether they're working day shift or night shift. Lord, we ask you to keep them safe. We've had too many police shootings. We've had too many police issues where they're being harmed. Lord, just too many. Please, God, keep them safe. Watch over them and bring them home safely to their families. Let their children understand the brave nature of their father or mother's job. And Lord, we ask for, in terms of Deputy McElwain, that you keep him safe, that you watch over his family, and that you continue to abundantly bless him with the great gifts that he has at such a young age. Thank you, Father, for the gifts. Thank you, Jesus, for our life. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Deputy McElwain.
Amen.
Thank you, buddy. God bless you. I truly mean that. Thank you for what you do. Please continue to do so. There is a brand new live PD on tonight, fans, at 9 o'clock East, 9 o'clock Pacific, for some of us too. However, Deputy McElwain will be on tonight, I'm sure. And if he's not on, just know he was on today with us, okay? So, Live PD Nation, we'll catch up with you shortly.
I'll be on the night. I'm actually headed out the door now.
Are you? All right. Well, would you like to say anything? Yes, would you like to say any last words to the folks listening here from Live PD Nation?
You know, I'll go ahead and just probably speak for all, VOs across the nation and the world. I am eternally grateful for all the support that we get. We do, quite honestly, we do have a tough job. We spend a lot of time away from our families. And, every inch and every comment, every this moment that the public gives to us in a positive way really fuels and helps us. It really allows us to know that we're doing something good. Because sometimes we can lose sight of that, and it's like we're getting beat up over the head. Like, are we doing something wrong here? And Live PD Nation, Leo supporters, it's just amazing to see what you guys do. I love the support. I love how you guys interact with not just myself but everyone. And I'm honored to be able to showcase my profession and my love to you guys.
Wow. Deputy Jeff McElwain from Pinal County, Arizona. God bless you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. It has been an honor. Can we catch you maybe again sometime down the road? See how your life's progressing?
Oh, definitely.
We'd love that.
I would love to.
All right. We'd love that too. Thank you for joining us on Twitter. God bless you guys. And next week we'll be talking with someone from Utah. So enjoy.